Hi, my name is Sirius. I have been diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder for several years now, so today I want to show you how to properly write your fictional characters with OCD. When representing any disorder, you should always be sure that you are doing proper research and not misrepresenting the disorder that you are trying to depict. One of the best ways to do this is by not playing into stereotypes, or at least trying to avoid them. To start off, the most common stereotype surrounding OCD comes from the idea that it's the same thing as being a perfectionist or a clean freak. Having your pens all nice and tidy makes you so OCD. Stuff like that. Obsessive cleanliness can be present in some subtypes of OCD, such as contamination OCD, which is a type of OCD involving intense fear of germs, illness, dirt, or just general impurity and the need to be clean. And it's perfectly okay to write your characters around this idea, but it's important to understand where exactly that fear is stemming from and how it relates to your character. Rule of thumb is to not treat these behaviors as just loving to clean or wanting things to be tidy. It's not just a preference, but rather people with OCD feel compelled to do these things to relieve anxiety, and it can be very detrimental to their mental health long term. OCD heavily increases the risk of depression and suicidal tendencies by its lonesome. OCD revolves around obsessions, which, used by mental health professionals, are unwanted thoughts, urges, and images that cause extreme anxiety, paranoia, or shame. Obsessions are followed by compulsions, which are behaviors that are meant to offer temporary relief to the anxiety before it repeats. This is called the cycle of OCD, which I have a very simple diagram that can better explain it. Let me tell y'all, the cycle is fucking endless. People with OCD might, but not always, think things like, if I don't wash my hands at least 5 times, then I'm going to get a sickness and die. If I don't flick this light switch before I leave this room, then someone I love is going to get hurt. If I pick up this pencil, then I'm going to stab or hurt somebody, so on and so forth. People with OCD are aware of the irrationality that comes with these obsessions and compulsive behaviors, but in my experience, OCD kind of feels like your brain holding your worst fears over your head. We know that they do not make sense, but it's simply like your brain is working against you. Next, when you are writing OCD into a character, you should remember that OCD tends to be a very individualized experience. What I mean is, I feel like there are so many different ways you could go about exploring this disorder that stems outside of just needing to be clean all the time. Though compulsions can be based around that, I find that other types of OCD are incredibly underrepresented or just looked down upon. Does your character have any deep-rooted fears, phobias, trauma? These are excellent points to center the OCD around, because it makes your character's experience with OCD unique to them and really brings out what matters most to them, or brings out the most fear or vulnerability from them. Here I have a list of a bunch of different subtypes of OCD that you can use as inspiration for writing your characters. People with OCD can experience multiple different subtypes. I personally deal with a few of these simultaneously, so keep that in mind. Harm OCD. Harm OCD is a subtype of OCD that involves intrusive thoughts and unwanted images that relate to causing harm to oneself or to others. Imagine you're using a knife to cook dinner or holding a baby, and your mind immediately takes a turn for the worst. Never would you ever do anything like that, but your brain will let the thought leave your head. This can lead to you having horrible ideas about yourself that contradicts who you really are inside. Checking OCD. A subtype of OCD that involves intense doubts and compulsive checking behaviors. It's normal to check things from time to time, making sure a door is locked or you turned off the light when you left your room. But for some people with OCD, they might be constantly doubting themselves, and these checking behaviors can become compulsive and obsessive. In my experience, I have this subtype of OCD particularly when I'm in the shower. I feel a constant need to read my shampoo and conditioner bottles over and over to make sure they are actually what I think they are, even when I've been using that particular shampoo for years and know for a fact that it is my shampoo. It's a small thing I feel compelled to do every single time. Counting OCD. Basically any compulsion that revolves around specific numbers or counting. In case y'all don't already know, I love 10, but unfortunately this bleeds into my OCD a lot because I feel the need to orientate everything around the number 10, or else I feel a very intense sense of dread and anxiety. It's pretty much every day that I do this. Heating up something in the microwave, I have to stop it at the number 10. Filling up a kettle, I have to count to 10 while I'm filling it, and so on and so forth. Kind of exhausting, but just something that I do, honestly. You get kind of used to those little routines. There are tons more subtypes that I have not mentioned here, such as POCD, ZOCD, hoarding OCD, symmetry OCD, existential OCD, gender OCD, false memory OCD, yada yada. At the end of the day, they are all OCD. I heavily recommend looking into the different ways OCD can look, and do plenty of research in order to properly apply this to your fictional characters. Happy writing!